YouTube friends and family, to today's crafting edition of the Wellness Homesteader. So a little more crafts this week, but you know, y'all, we're getting up close to Christmas. So today is the 16th. You'll be watching this on the 18th, but this is actually Thursday. I can't believe a week from today is Thanksgiving, and I want to start my Christmas decor on Thanksgiving Day, since it will be a little bit different of a Thanksgiving this year for me. So I talked in an earlier video about thrifty ways at Christmas, and one of the things that I'm trying to be extremely careful about is spending a lot of money for decor when I literally, my whole understair storage is full of Christmas. And there might be a couple trees that wouldn't fit under there that I also have. But one of the things that I really enjoy doing, and I've done several videos on this, is I love making a good wreath. Now, do I need a Christmas wreath? Why no, I do not. I actually purchased this wreath kit from Hardworking Mom, and I think her channel is called something different now, but if you just Google it, you'll find it, and I'll try to leave a link to her shop below. She did have a sale, I believe it was in July. My invoice was dated August 5th, so that you know, was somewhere in there, but at any rate, she had some really cute kits on sale. Now, I don't know if these were last year's or previous year's or brand new. I don't know. Doesn't really matter, but I love blue. Y'all know that. I love the whole teal blue kitchen-y thing. I don't have my light on, do I? I'll turn that on. But this was the metal focal centerpiece of the wreath, and I thought, this is perfect. I can use blue and red and some touches of pink if I want for my holiday this year. Well, as I looked at the kit, I thought, you know what? I really like the idea of using candy canes or peppermints as my theme for this year, because I know I can make things that are themed like that and it won't break the bank, and I don't have to go out and purchase a lot of new things. So this is super cute. Here is the actual wreath. Now, I think I've shared before, I have never bought a quality of wreath like this. It's not so much the metal, it's the ties, but it is a dimensional wreath. There are a total of 18 ties. And this is like the artificial Christmas tree, so it's not soft. Let me show you the difference here. So this would be the thickness and the sturdiness of a pipe cleaner or a chenille stem as compared to this. So you can see this is much, much sturdier. So what I like about it is the wreaths really hold up, things don't fall off, and I'm gonna be making this one for my kitchen to kind of carry through that candy cane or peppermint theme, which will primarily be in this area of the house. So what are you going to need? Well, you're going to need 2 types of mesh if you want to recreate this. So if you want to buy the dimensional wreath, say from a Hobby Lobby, you'll need the pipe cleaners, or I know that Dollar Tree has evergreen stems that might also work. So this kit came with the beautiful blue mesh, and then a candy cane striped mesh, and then you're going to need 4 types of ribbon. Now, I don't know exactly how much ribbon because it's pre-cut. So the star of the wreath, in my opinion, is this gorgeous, and it's sparkly, but it doesn't seem to leave a bunch of glitter on your hands. I find her kits to be of impeccable quality. So this is a wired ribbon, so we'll be able to shape it. And with that, I'm going to use the narrower blue, and then it also came with this blue, which is a bit brighter, and another candy cane stripe. So we need to get busy cutting everything. So this is probably, for me, what takes the longest. And I will tell you all, don't wear like a knit sweater, because this stuff grabs and it picks. It also will grab your hair. Ask me how I know. And thank you all for noticing a little bit different hairdo. I used to wear my hair up like this all the time, and I kind of quit. And I like it because to me, it's kind of that mid-century modern look. All right, so for kits, these are 10 yards, by the way. So if you're buying your mesh from Dollar Tree, you will notice they're not 10 yards and they may be a lot thinner. So you may want to double up or whatever. I say just wait for Hobby Lobby or Michael's to have them on sale, because they do go on sale a lot. So it comes with a set of instructions, but they're pretty vague, okay? It just assumes that you know how to make wreaths. So it will tell us we need 9 pieces of each ribbon. So we'll have each cut at, at 12 inches. And so we'll have a total of 36 cuts. So since there's 18 ties and we're gonna put 2 ribbons on each tie, that's where they come up with the 36. Now you can do anything you want. You can make the poof style where you just have big poofs of the mesh going all the way around. You can do just a ruffle with a curl. You can do the woodland ruffle, which is just, it kind of looks like a bow tie, but it has the curls on either end. And those are the basic options that, ruffle with curls, yeah, that she gives for this particular wreath. So I'm gonna get busy cutting. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut all of my ribbon and pair it up, how it will be assembled onto the wreath. So I'm going to cut 9 1-foot pieces out of each one of these 4 ribbons. I'll get those stacked up in order, and then I'll bring you back to show you how I cut the mesh. I think y'all know how to use scissors and cut the ribbon. It does help if you have some pretty sharp scissors, because the wired ribbon is a little harder to get through. And y'all, if you hear noise in the background, today is leaf removal day. I think they're almost done. They were so loud there for a while that I couldn't even start the video. So I'm gonna get busy because we need to get this wreath done and hung up as we start thinking about the holiday season. Stay tuned. Okay, I have the ribbons cut and I just go ahead and layer them. And I was like, I don't know how much ribbon. Well, you would need 9 feet because you're cutting 9 of each, 9 feet of 4 kinds of ribbon, and then additional for the bow. So the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm gonna tip you down, and I have a self-healing cutting mat, and I am going to do the ruffle and the curl. So not the woodland ruffle that has the 2 curls on each end, just a simple ruffle. I think doing it a little differently this time, will give you some options if you've watched me make the woodland ruffle. Woodland ruffle. So I just have here a rotary cutter. Do be careful, and you need to cut at the 30-inch mark, and you need 9 of each color. So I'm just gonna roll these up. Frankie usually comes over to help because he enjoys playing with them, and it doesn't make it super easy on me, but just as easy as this, y'all. It's so simple. There's nothing hard about this. The thing that I think is the most challenging is figuring out which design wreath you want to make. All right, I'm gonna keep cutting. I'll bring you back when we have everything cut, and we'll start assembling just that quick. All right, I've cut all of my 30-inch pieces. I also cut 9 8-inch pieces to make a curl to go on top of our ribbon. And I just wanted to share with you, if you buy the 10-yard mesh, you're gonna have just a itty bitty bit left over, so not much at all, but a little bit. So it's adequate amount of mesh to make this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the bottom row. It's a lot easier to start on the outside or bottom of the wreath than the inside. And I'm going to open up each one of these. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So there are 10 on the outside. Now to do our ruffle overboard. To do our ruffle, super simple, y'all. So I am just going to kind of stretch it out here, and I'm going to push with my thumb and pull with my fingers, and I'm just going to ruffle it up so that it looks like a bow tie. Now I will tell you, this mesh can be a little hard on your hands. If you're making a bunch of these, you might need to wear some type of a protective glove that's slick enough so that the mesh does not stick to like a knit glove. Now these are just clothespins that I purchased. I think those came from Dollar Tree. They may have come from Dollar General. And if you have any like long pieces that slip off, go ahead and, you know, take those as well. So now we need to decide what color we are going to use on what. So that's one option. And then for the blue, we could do this. Or you can do the same color curl, but I think it will be prettier this way. So we're gonna go with that. All right, so just pick one of your ties there. And what you wanna do is place your ruffle in there. And this is just called a ruffle. I'm gonna just twist it just to kind of hold it in place. And you do want to try to get it fairly even. Although once it's all full, you won't notice small little things. So next, I'm going to just roll this up into a curl. And, oh, you know what I didn't do, y'all? I do like to dovetail my ribbon. So just fold it in half, cut it at an angle towards the wire side. And what you end up with is a pretty little point rather than, you know, something like this with raw edges. So let me go through and do that. I thought it went awful quickly. I'll get one done and then I'll go through and cut them all just to make it a little more efficient. Okay, so we have our two ribbons. I'm just gonna fold them in half, kind of mark the midpoint with my thumb, put the little curl on, and then lay it over our ruffle, and then twist and twist and twist. And y'all, because these are so pretty, I'm not gonna cut them off, but you certainly could. I'm just gonna kind of roll them up. And then you wanna take your ribbon, kind of separate it out like this, so that all those pretty colors show. And I will tell you, this ribbon that has like the glitter finish, it's kind of sticky, if you know what I mean, like everything wants to stick to it. So, I have a big mess here. So there is our first ruffle and curl, and I just knocked more off. Let me reorganize here. I'm gonna go around, do the whole bottom, and I'll bring you back. We'll start on the center. Then we have a bow, and we also have our little sign that we're gonna add too. Well, we have the outside of the wreath finished. And the reason I like to do the outer ring first is otherwise you have to push everything up to get to the bottom. And this is just naturally going to push the wreath down, and it's gonna make it look fuller and nicer. So there are 8 ties in the middle. And we are going to keep doing the same thing we've been doing. But I wanted to share with you a little something. about wreaths. Because I got thinking, you know, where did this whole thing about having a wreath for every occasion, you know, when did it come to be? So I'm going to work and talk at the same time. But actually the word wreath comes from the word writhen. That was an Old English word that meant to writhe or to twist. And the actual art of hanging Christmas wreaths came from the Romans, who hung wreaths on their door as signs of victory. And I just lost my notes. I can't be slick with this at all now, can I? So women wore them as headdresses, as a symbol of pride, and also wore them for special occasions like weddings. I mean, how neat is that? I have to remember which goes on which. Okay. So let's put our ribbons on. And guys, I am just rolling the pipe cleaner type things to the inside. The other thing I did not mention is I like to put on one side of the bow, I like the ribbon to go up, and on the other side, that same color ribbon to go down. It just adds a little bit of variation. The other thing I failed to tell you is as you continue to add ruffles is what they're called, as you continue to add them, you want to kind of lock the mesh together. So I'll show you that in just a minute. So in ancient Greece, back to our wreath, the victors of sporting events were given laurel wreaths. And, you know, we still see that, you know, for Olympic Games, things like that. So Christmas wreaths were originally made of evergreen, and they would twist or bend them together into a wreath shape. And then traditionally they were decorated with red bows and pine cones, which I thought was very interesting. So let's put this next one on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just secure it with a couple twists before I add the ribbons. Then I am going to take the one we just completed, which is this blue here, and kind of lock it together. And believe me, guys, it will lock together, but it helps your wreath be fuller and fluffier and a little more organized looking. So you can see how this is now standing up compared to this side. What did I do with the blue? Did I not get, I thought I could, y'all, oh, here it is, right here. I got too many things going on. The circle shape of the wreath is made to represent Christ's eternal love, his strength, and the creation of new life. Evergreens are commonly used in the construction of the wreath due to their hardiness throughout harsh winters, and they denote strength as well as immortality. So how cool is that, right? All right, guys, hold on a minute. I'm getting a phone call. All right, y'all, look at our beautiful wreath. It really came out lovely, lovely, lovely. That's just a piece of wire. So now comes the decision, and I just threw that wire on the floor, of our little sign. Do we want it, you know, like to the side? Do we want it in the middle? And I've chosen middle. So what I do is I just lay it out on a grid, mark with a Sharpie the exact middle, and then I have a little device here that punches holes in metal, but you could use like a nail or an awl. You don't have to have the little tool. The next thing I'm going to do is I have just some fine gauge wire. I'm going to feed it through that hole. And I may have gotten a little carried away in the amount of wire, but I find that it's a little, you can always trim off the wire, but when you don't have enough, it can be a real pain. So let me pull those ends up even, and then I just twist the sign so that it twists the wire and secures it. And now I have, oh y'all, I wonder what happened to it. I have a little plastic needle. Frankie, did you take it? Where is it? Hold on, guys. It's on the floor. So it's just a plastic needle like this. I'm going to feed those wires through the needle like that. And it makes it a lot easier to place your sign because you can just go straight through the mesh like this. You don't have to worry about it getting tangled as much. So I'm just going to pull it through to the back. And you have choices, guys. You know, you don't have to put it in the middle. You can kind of nestle it in, which is, I think, what I'm going to do. Nestle it in a little bit. So maybe pull it about that tight. And then on the back, you want to wind your wire through the supports several, did I mention several times? So it is nice and secure. I usually go through a couple of the supports. I think it just makes it sturdier and to stay better. And one thing you do want to be careful of is not having, if you're going to hang this on a door, you know, these aren't even, so let me cut this. Whoops, maybe, well, you don't want wire scratching your door. So you're going to want to make sure that you tuck it in well. So I'm going to kind of finish it off with a bit of a knot. Just pull it up tight. And I'm just going to poke it through inside the mesh so I don't have to worry that will scratch the door. So there we have one. And I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. So just some thin gauge wire. If I can find the end of it. This is a little bit tangled, but I decided I would use it anyway. This was some of my mom's craft supplies. And even though it's tangly, it's still usable. And at least like 1.5 feet is what I usually start with. It just makes it so much easier if you're not battling a short piece of wire, I think. Wow, it would be so much easier, Mom, if you hadn't let this get so tangled. Oh, my word. Always blame, you know, somebody who's not here for the tangles. It's certainly not me, right? Okay. And it, of course, is going to grab everything it touches. Wow, this is super tangled. Okay. I think we've about got enough here. Yeah, we're going to call that good. Cut that off. And y'all, I have to show you this. Let's see if I can do it without messing up here. Let me go around. Yeah, so this is what I deal with. He's like, I help you, Mom. I lay right on your cutting board and I help you do all the things. So, again, same thing. I'm going to feed the wire through, maybe. And since I can't spin the actual metal piece, I'll just pull the ends up even and just hand twist it. But that will keep it, you know, staying upright or in place in the direction that you want it. Now, you do want to make sure that you've got it even. You know, you're not sewing it like this. So that looks fairly comparable. We'll feed these through to the back. And while you can do this by hand, you don't have to have the needle. That would be the one thing I would invest in because it just makes it so much easier. And once again around and around the metal frame so that it is secure. And then tuck in that wire. And there you go, y'all. Looking pretty. Now, since I did have ribbon left over, I think I'm gonna make a bow. So let me reposition things a little bit and we'll get to making a big bow that we can put maybe at the bottom and really foof out our wreath. Since this is gonna be an indoor wreath, I don't have to worry about it fitting in between doors. Now we do have, you know, enough ribbon left that we could use all 4 colors, but actually I want to bring out the light blue and this more so. So that's what I'm gonna do. So this is called an easy bow maker. And basically what it does is it enables you to hold the center of your bow until you're ready to put a zip tie on it and get it secured to your wreath. So we're gonna start out deciding, okay, how long do I want my tails? So that is about 1 foot. And so we'll slide it in between these 2 pegs. And now, because this is a one-sided ribbon, we're going to have to twist. So decide how big you want your loops. So that is a 6-inch loop right there. And there's little markings on here, which I think is super handy. And then you want to twist your ribbon the other direction. Do another 6-inch loop. And let's see what we have left here. We've got enough left. We can do a couple more loops. So maybe do a 5-inch-ish loop. And again, guys, if you were using all 4 colors, this would be a much fuller bow than what I'm going to have. But because the wreath is pretty foofy, and see, now we have our other tail. It's a little bit longer than the other one, but we can trim that up. Now on top of that, here we go. I'm gonna do the same thing. Start by leaving maybe a little bit longer tail out of this color. And this ribbon is not one-sided. It could go either way. So you can just kind of work back and forth. So my first loop, I think I'll make about 5 inches again. And sometimes I think the twist, guys, honestly helps it hold in the bow maker a little easier. So feel free to twist away. And that. And then I think I will do one more loop. So this isn't going to be like a ginormous bow, but it will be nice and fluffy. So about 4 inches there. Get this untwisted here. Twisted the wrong way. And about a 4-inch loop on this side. And guys, you can keep going. I've made bows that are almost to the top. And then we will just cut. Now, you do need a zip tie for best effect. So what you want to do here is you want to slide your zip tie underneath all these layers of bow, like that, before you pull it off. Ask me how I know. And then you just pop it off. And you want your knot, if you will, of your zip tie to be in the back. So pull it around to the back and just zip it. All right. Now you can start, is that tight? Sometimes I do the zip tie the wrong direction, and I think I did. So instead of taking it off and risking losing the bow, I can never remember how these go. I'm gonna just put another one on and make sure that I'm doing this properly. Yeah, okay, and this is the back. Yeah, there we go. And then this one, I can just take off and it can be reused. Anybody else have trouble knowing which way the zip tie locks? I do. Okay, so we're just gonna start fluffing out our loops. And it helps if you twist and pull. It will give you the dimension to the bow that you're looking for. Now I do want to go ahead and trim all my tails into a dovetail. So just cut on the fold it in half, cut on the diagonal towards the wire. That way you don't have to cut through the wire and dull your scissors further. That's just my tip. That's how I do it. And 4, okay. Now the fun part. We're almost finished, aren't we? Let's decide where on our gorgeous wreath we want this. So you can do it on the side. You can do it on the bottom. I think I'm gonna do mine on the bottom. So how I like to put on my bow is just with another zip tie. It just works so well. So just slide the zip tie that you're going to use through the existing zip tie. And I've already forgotten. Yeah, I think that's proper. And then, or you can wire it on. I'm going to zip tie it because I think it'll be a little more secure. And let's see. Y'all let me fiddle with this because you can't see what I'm doing anyway. I'll bring you back at the very end. We'll look at our gorgeous wreath and I'll give you some final thoughts. Yeah, I couldn't be more tickled with this. I think this is a really fun wreath. So I love the candy house with all the peppermint. And I'm really pleased that I did do the little curls because I think that they add a lot. Now I'll sit here and I'll fiddle with it and rearrange the ribbons 1,000 times, but this is quite lovely, and I think it's going to add a little something to my Christmas themed kitchen. It didn't take too long, and again, guys, I apologize for dropping off right in the middle of a conversation. The phone rings, sometimes you have to answer it. So today's video you will see on Saturday, so I will see you next week. And again, I've moved kind of from the Thanksgiving mode into Christmas mode. You might see a little something right there. Turkeys and a tree. So I'm trying to get in the spirit, but I will have handmade gifts. I will have a little bit of decorating. Certainly our Throwback Thursday dishes for the holidays from probably 50s, 60s, 70s, that era. So lots of fun coming up, guys. And of course, some retro history, because what would my channel be without a little retro history, right? I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Do me a big favor if you would. Go ahead and smash that like button. Drop me a comment below. What do you think of a peppermint candy theme for Christmas? It's got my hair. Oh, y'all. Professional production. Not really. Anyway, I will see you all very soon next week. And until then, be healthy, be well, be blessed, and take care.